Whoa,
wrong.
Blaney's
Something
out of gas. Something's wrong.
About a gas. I can't believe we had a gas, man.
Austin Cindric, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Austin Cindric wins in St. Louis.
How about that? What a heartbreaker, Ryan Blaney.
Well, Ryan Blaney doesn't have enough gasoline to make it around on the last lap. Austin Cindric takes the dub at Word Wide Technology Raceway. We're going to break down all things right here today on Stacking Pennies.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey guys, welcome back to Stacking Pennies. Corley Joy here alongside Ryan Flores. Man, that sucked for you guys.
That's a heartbreaker.
Jeez.
But we will get into that here shortly. Heartbreaker of a day for you as well.
It's been a tough stretch.
You've had just
That's
no
not
speed.
even luck.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough when you qualify well for a lap and then it doesn't translate to the race. Just chasing it a little bit.
It looked like from Saturday when we talked Saturday evening, I was like, man, that was a pretty good day. Qualified,
It was.
Qualified 15th, practice 16th. Looked like you were going to be strong. Dude, qualifying at Gateway is so fun to watch because the corners are so unique.
There's so many different ways to approach it.
And now with the SMT car kind of overlaying, you could see like who rolls in the corner too hard and then who, like, I felt like Austin Cindric did a great job.
That thing was fast.
Just how he would not roll too much entry speed, because like the guys that would roll in a car length deeper would have to slow down in the center, and then he would roll the center better and get drive.
Yeah.
And then
that's a place where you can't ask the tire to do two things. You either ask it to slow down or to turn, and it's a really really small margin to try to ask the tire to make the most grip you can to bend laterally into the corner to be able to tip in and put the gas down hard, but monster lap out of the 34.
Well, that's what I was going to say is like you watch everybody and it's close and it's like a game of like who gets in there, and then the 34 just goes, yeah, I'm going to go 3/10 faster in the field here.
It's crazy.
It was nuts.
Shout
and then
out
he
Travis
backed it up.
Yeah, he run a 38 and a 40 something.
The first one I was like, and hey, I'm going to say this and I'm going to seem like
that's
not
Sterno
very
lap.
nice. The first one I was like, is there something wrong with timing and scoring? Like you never see anybody 3/10 faster than the field. That's like the bag blow across the line? What happened there?
Yeah, that was a monster lap. Shout out Peterson and Michael McDowell for sitting on the pole. I was talking to Michael. They've qualified they made second round of qualifying 10 out of the 15 races.
That's good, man. They've been
That's
strong, and that's going to be an asset for Spire next year. Him coming over
for sure. He's
definitely really good at punching above his weight class, and I wouldn't even say punch above his weight class because like these guys are contenders each and every week. Peterson, they did a wolf pack, is what we call it, a double adjustment stop on their first green flag stop because the 20 car got by him, and he knew that he said it. They kind of did the like where they're in the pre-race meeting on Fox, and Peterson said in their pre-race meeting that first pit stall gives us an extra second.
Mm-hmm.
So like don't be pressed, and he took that extra second to adjust on his car. It was just such a tough race to try to get track position.
Very hard to pass.
Very hard to pass.
The balance of your car changes. Before we get too far down into the weeds of the race and we get the world's smallest violin out, talk about my day. Big news this week. A lot of rumblings, but it actually came to fruition and came true because SHR announced that they are folding up shop this
tough.
week. You hate to see it. You hate to see that at one point the makings of a dynasty come to an end, and you have a lot of emotional attachment to that place. Won your first championship there.
Yeah,
how did it make you feel?
It was tough. You know, when I got over there, I got an opportunity to go there for the 2011 season. And when I got there, I was at Roush for 4 years, and I loved it. But Roush was different then, and Roush was run is very structured, very much like this is how you do things. And I was with Jamie McMurray first, and then David Reagan. Great driver, good drivers. We won some races, but then I get put with Tony Stewart, and it was like, oh, here we go. And then that year in 2011 with Tony Stewart, and Jeff Menering was the car chief. Darren Grubb was the crew chief. It was like the who's who. When you went over there, then it was a 2-car team.
Yep.
So it was all the guys from DEI, Tony Gibson, and
on the 39.
On the 39, all his guys, and then all the guys from Hendrick, like Jeff Menering, Darren Grubb, and on the 14. And it was like the who's who, dude. It was like, and it was really cool to be a part of. You knew everybody there was a badass. The pit crew was good. It was like Ira, Joe, Casto, Daniel Smith, Shrek. Like, their teams were great. And it was just like, you almost felt like an honor to be there, right? And they let Bobby Hutchins go that year, and it kind of started feeling a little bit less like a family and more like a race team. And then they get some new leadership, and the team starts to grow. And there's, with Danica comes in, and then
some driver
Kurt
turnover,
comes in, and then they go from 2 teams to 4 teams, and with that you have to hire more people, and there's just more going on, and it slowly lost its family feel to me, and I end up leaving the end of the 2013 season, going over to Penske. Been there ever since, but I have some of my fondest memories from that shop. Some of my dear friends still work there, or friendships came from there, and it's tough to see it shut down, but it goes to show, man, this stuff, none of this stuff's gonna last forever. It's a small blip in time, and I wish nothing but the best for Gene and for Tony, and what they've done in the sport is great. It's hard, I was thinking back at it. Nobody ever thought at the time they'd ever see the sport without Junior Johnson's teams.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody ever thought at the time you'd see the sport
without Junie Dunleavy's.
Well, without, Holman Moody, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the progression of the sport. It changes. And that's why it's so, impressive what the Wood brothers have been able to do, and what Petty's been able to do, to stay involved in the sport for so long.
Yeah.
It's freaking hard, man.
How much of it do you think is, Tony's off doing the drag racing venture, Gene's off doing the F1 thing, not much tensions going on here? I do think Kevin Harvick, and there was, there's probably 3 or 4 years with experienced driver and sponsor turnover, and then you lose Kevin Harvick, who is a top 7 driver of all time, and also the anchor partner in Anheuser-Busch, and the wheels fall off.
So Tony Stewart, his equity in the company was not funding. It was not money. It was always Gene's money. His equity in the company was being the talent and winning races, right?
Yeah.
That's why they went and got him, because Haas was spending the money. They just didn't have the driver.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to get somebody like Tony Stewart away from Joe Gibbs was to give him equity in the company. Now, I think Tony stood up in front of everybody last week and said, dude, I don't have the money to run this place.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, when Gene's stuff, when these guys are done spending the money on it, it's done. And I think he even said in the meeting pretty candidly to his guys, look, we're running in the red. We're not making money.
Yeah.
And the driver's a big part of it. And they've lost a lot of all their staple drivers, and now they have younger guys in there. But Kevin Harvick, it brings a lot to the table. You know, Clint Boyer brought a lot
behind
to the
the
table,
scenes. Yeah.
And you lose those guys, and it makes it really tough. And it's hard to see because, like I said, there's a lot of good people, but life goes on, man. And the good guys will always have jobs. And and that's that.
So it starts in musical chairs. Right now, it just essentially takes those 4 seats, gets dispersed front row. You're here and leasing the shop, buying a charter. So they're going to be a 3-car operation next year. They already announced that. Hearing some other ones, hearing some rumblings, 2311, hearing some rumblings about Trackhouse, and hearing some rumblings potentially about Haas retaining one. But all of those guys are without a job.
Drivers, crew chiefs, pit crew guys, shop guys, like the ones that I'm the most nervous for, the shop guys. There's guys that have been there for 20 years.
Yeah.
And there's pit crew guys that have been there for 20 years that have, put their blood, sweat, and tears into that place, and it's going to be a big life change for them. But like I said, some salt of the earth people there, some of the greatest guys I've ever worked with in the sport. That'll be that a lot of these teams will be lucky to get.
We could talk about my day briefly. Yeah, we were hopeful. Thought we had a good car. Tight in practice. Had a right front chatter that was a little bit concerning, but I thought we were going to be able to finagle it and make it better, and just could not go.
You don't want to be tight there, it seems like, because if you're tight and you got to wait on the throttle, the straightaways are so long that you pay the price all the way down the straightaway.
Yeah, and shout out to Carson. Obviously, top 10 run for him. He's very good. I think he's underrated. I think he's very good on restarts, and he manipulates the car well. That's something that I'm trying to kind of look at his stuff and replicate, because he is fucking banshee.
Yeah, but you're not a 32nd place guy either, right? So, like, let's not get too far down the rabbit hole of.
Yeah, so there was one instance that could have went the other way. Sparks and I were talking about it after the race. After the second stage, we caught a break. There was a yellow halfway through the second stage with the 4 car. I think he had a left front tire go down and absolutely creamed the wall. Turn 3 at Gateway with the 4 car. There's a magnet to it because Kevin Harvick broke a rotor there. Oh, boy. That does not feel good.
No, that
does not feel good.
That's the worst possible place, right?
Kevin Harvick broke a rotor there. Very similar hit. Here we go, riding along with him. Oh boy.
Ow. It almost looks like it picks up speed when it gets in the marbles. Dude, you think the pedal went to the floor there too?
Or did it break a rotor or have a left front tire go down?
I don't know.
So this is right. Okay. So mind you, this is right after a green flag cycle. So if you start green flag, you start your pressures very low at a place like that, trying to make grip because you know it's going to fall off on the back end of the run. There's always something you can do different, but when you start those pressures super low and you hit the curb or you do something where it shocks that sidewall on super low air pressure, you're always a little bit nervous going out after a green flag stop with the low left rear pressure, low left front pressure. You want to take care of those tires and bring them up to at least peak temp so you're kind of out of that danger zone of sidewall. And it looks like maybe the left front. Whether they ran something over, I don't know. But you hate to see that happen. Big lick out of the 4.
So how did it hurt your day?
No, at that moment it helped our day.
Oh, it helped your day.
So we were out. We were, I don't know, 13th at the time because we hadn't pitted yet. Caution comes out. We get to we maintain 15th, 16th. Track position was super important. The balance of my car almost fixed itself within reason, running 15th as opposed to where it was when I was 27th. Wedged ourselves in between, I don't know, a couple good cars in front of the 24. Caution comes out at the stage that was brought out by the 5 and the 8. Let's recap that right quick, then we'll get into what happened the rest of my day.
See, I wonder if – so the 5 comes off the corner here underneath the 8, side drafts him, and I wonder if Kyle got mad that he got his quarter panel there because like that – because Kyle crowds him – Kyle Busch crowds Kyle Larson. Into the corner, and it just swapped ends.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's stuff that happened previously, like a lap or two before this, but if I'm just judging off of that straightaway there – a lot of beeps there from Tyler Mon. If he's mad about that, then I'm confused. Because Kyle Busch was just like, well, I guess he needed a playoff point or a stage point. I'm putting that one just off of that for what I'm seeing there. I'm putting that all on the 8.
Yeah, he's pulls down 2 lanes into the corner.
Now, there's stuff that happened before that. I didn't see it. I don't know. But from what I saw, off of turn 4, into turn 1.
To the point of contact.
Yeah.
Wonder what I'm sure the radio transmission from the 8 was
I know he had a post-race interview. I didn't hear it. He probably wasn't too stoked. But, yeah, I don't
was, I think, 1 to go coming to the stage break. So, now – okay, there's some decisions to make. There's some guys that had flipped strategy, were the beneficiary of not pitting, as we were. The 71 and myself were kind of on the back end, so we were 15th. And now the decision's made. Okay, do we come? We're kind of in our window to split the stage, anyways. Track position super important. Do we come down? Pit road entrance is into 3. Crew chief can't really see it, and we were going to stay out, hopefully there was some cars behind us to buffer from the new tires that are coming. And we didn't come, and every car behind us came.
You were the last car
on new tires.
Oh, man, that's a tough spot.
So there was no buffer, and one person shoots, and I think I was middle 4 wide down the backstretch. And then you just get swallowed up. You get ping ponged around, and then you get swallowed up by the new tires. You can't really get a.
Now, where do you give up the most on old tires? Is it center of the corner? Is it launch? Is it everywhere?
It's center, turn, and launch. I was right here. My right front's not turning. I'm trying to get it to turn, and then somebody sticks it in the bottom.
Oh, you were on the bottom too.
Or Keselowski, yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, you're just a moving chicane.
And also, people know, okay, you're on old tires, so they're not going to push you. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, they're just getting around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough spot.
So it's one of those to where if you can squirt out and you can get it singled out and you can be defensive at that moment, it changes your day. The 71 was able to do that. He didn't take tires as well.
Would you have chose different there, looking back at it? Would you have chose? You think if you're on the top, you can be more defensive?
Yeah. I mean, statistics show the top.
Especially with an old right front
the
that's
top
chattering.
Rolls, yeah. But my stuff turned better on the bottom. Heat cycle turned a little bit worse. And then that was like, then you're kind of screwed. Then the entire third stage went green.
Oh, yeah, you're done.
So it sucked and it stunk.
We stayed there, but we had clean air.
Yeah.
And we were first and second.
Yeah, if you had a 2-row buffer to tires, that was enough to get it singled out. Once it got singled out, then you can kind of maintain, and you give up 1 or 2 and not 15.
Yeah, it's a tough spot to be
then you're just pissed off.
But hey, someone's got to be the last car, right? Somebody's going to be that. It just sucks that it was you. So then we move on, dude. So we stay out, come down pit road, do our pit stop.
Where'd you guys restart there?
We restarted second.
Yeah.
The 2 car jumped out. The 20 pitted, so he was like, I don't know, called 10th. And they did 2. So he was coming, but it was pretty much a 2-horse race at that point in time between us and the 2 car, and we had to find a way to jump the 2. So we short pitted on a lap, executed our pit stop. I think it was like a 9.3. It was a good stop, which, dude, that was the hardest race of my life so far, I think. Just because you come out like, all right, the last pit stop you did was
a race ender.
A green flag pit stop at the Coke 600, your wheel fell off, took you out of the race.
Yeah.
Now, okay, here you go. You're at Gateway. You're gonna pit in the top 3 all day and race for the win. The last stop you do is a green flag pit stop for the win. You know, and that's like, that's where you got to be a professional. And it's like, yep, this job is hard. So we do it. We execute. From our end, we thought we executed, did everything we could. Obviously, there's just a slight miscalculation. But before we get to that, the 20 car pits as well, and he's on like 19 lap fresher tires, and he catches us, and the race between him and Blaney was just awesome. He even got by us before this. Blaney crossed him back over. Then I thought, Blaney he had been running the top, and he comes down and he air blocks the 20, and I'm like, man, that air block worked. And then I watched it down the straightaway, and I'm like, nah, something's wrong with the 20. And then they said, yeah, we're blowing up here. And then the 19 actually ended up, I didn't see this till this morning when I was watching highlights back. The 19 ended up, I don't know if the 19 was a couple laps down.
He was 2 down. I think he had a flat left rear under green.
He got a flat left rear under green, exactly. And he ended up pushing the 20 around the racetrack. They said it was worth like a half second. But
that's a good teammate.
Hey, thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Pow, pow.
So, yeah, but it made for just an awesome end of the race, because really once we got done with the last pit stop, we were like, all right. And you look at how many, it's like 49 to go, and you're like, oh, no. And then it's like 38 to go, and the 20 car is like right there. And you're like, man, Blaney held him off and did a great job. And I wonder if the 20, is that just a product of shifting so many times a lap and being aggressive with your shifts?
Yeah, because the rev limiter doesn't work on the downshift.
It doesn't.
Well, it does, right? But
only so much.
However fast your tires are going, that's how fast it's going to spin the motor on downshift. upshift is going to.
Not saying that Chris Bell missed a shift.
No.
We're not saying
No.
that.
But
Don't take us out of context.
if you bang one down, it will be like Frankie Muniz grenaded one in practice in the Xfinity race,
shifting
fourth to first, right? It just blows right past whatever the motor can take.
I read a quote from him, and he's like, "I just got to get in a better mental headspace here. Like, I need to go back home and think about what I'm even doing." And I'm like, "Amen, brother."
Yeah, you and me both.
This is the sport.
Yeah, welcome to
a lot of times it's not much fun.
No. Yeah, welcome to NASCAR.
That's like when our friend, I had that same thought when our friend Janie, the old producer of the show, came up and tapped me on the shoulder and was like, "Hey, great job." And I was like,
the race is still
going.
going.
And then after she did that, Blaney was like, "I'm out of gas." And I was like, "You can't, that is something out of a movie." I'm so sad right now.
So did I think I saw Larry Mack on the post race. I went back and looked at it. I had to see what the difference was. It looked like the two plugged in that second can. Got him just enough to get home.
Two-car.
Was that the difference?
I mean, it was just the calculations, right? Like and there's so much that goes in it. I've just been like, I looked at Twitter once and it was just like, everybody needs to be fired. It's like, okay. But there's so much.
If you forget to carry
in
the one, that happens.
No, it's not even that. It's like, look at fuel density, right? Like look at how much hotter it was when we raced and when we practiced, right? Like if you're talking about 10 or 20 degrees, and then that changes the density of fuel, and then that factors into your fuel mileage. We were a quarter of a gallon short, so a quart of oil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for everybody there, a quart of oil. That's it.
But it's gas.
Short of gas. And really, we all thought that we were good, and it was just a mere miscalculation. But you had to be aggressive like that. Everybody's like,
yeah,
should have taken more gas. It's like, well, at the time,
we
could only go off of what we think is right. We had to get in front of the two-car. We had to jump on pit road. You weren't going to pass them on the racetrack. We executed flawlessly, aggressively, which is what we needed to be. And at the end of the day, we come up a corner and a lap short of making it. It's going to sting for a little while. But at the same time, if we aren't that aggressive, will we just run second? Like, it's better than running 25th, but
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't and who's to say that I don't know. I haven't been back to the shop. I haven't talked to anybody. Who's to say that it wasn't there wasn't some fuel in there and the pickup didn't grab it? Like,
right.
But at the end of the day, it sucks.
How about a gas? I can't believe we had a gas, man. Yeah, that was gonna sting.
I had my earplugs out by that point.
Should have won.
Brutal.
Because I know that there's nothing like. I understand how Ryan is on the radio too, and like there's nothing good to say, and I don't fault him for saying anything on the radio. So I just take him out. That way I don't hear it. And like, all right.
Yeah.
If I put my helmet on, if we're coming down, I'm here ready to help push this thing across the line. And if not, it's over at that point. But it's tough as a team, right? Because we're all in it together, and I hate to see my teammates upset. Our engineers were down on themselves. Gas man's like did something I could have done, and it's just tough. But you carry on. That is the ups and downs of the sport.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's Janie's fault for saying a good job to her. And my brother-in-law, Derek,
yeah, your brother-in-law texted
me
you
with checkered flags like 5 to go. I'm like, I'm gonna block your number, dog.
During the race, for sure.
I am going
Don't do that.
Yes. Don't ever text. Actually, you're never allowed to text me again, Derek. You can only call me. That's my new rule.
That's what made the 12 car burn fuel faster.
That's what it is. Yep, it definitely was not atmospheric density of the fuel pressure. It was the text messages and the well wishes before the race was over.
Man.
But here's where I feel like
also
I'm
on the flip side, One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's where I feel like I'm getting more mature, because I was as upset I was for us. I was that excited for the 2-car, because like we have a really great culture at Penske with our pit crews and our, just kind of pulling for each other as much as it sucked. But like those guys, especially the pit crew, Brian Wilson, shout out Brian Wilson. I think that's his first Cup win as a crew chief. Been in the trench with him for a long time. Really excited for him. And then he's won a Xfinity championship with Austin. And then, my best friends, Pat Gray, Andrew Lackey, Jesse Mills, they've my tire carrier, Jackman, and Gasman for such a long time. And then, we've won a lot of races together, Coke 600s, Daytona 500. And then, they haven't won since that last Daytona 500 we won. And then you got Keaston France and Justin Prevette. That's their first ever Cup win, the tire changers on that car. So I'm just like genuinely just super happy for them to get back to victory lane, or the two guys that got their first win to find victory lane for the first time, because I know how hard they work. You're in the trenches with those guys every day at practice, getting better, trying to make each other better. And I hope that's the first of many for all of them. I just hope it doesn't come at the expense of us anymore.
Yeah. That was 53 total laps led. Certainly led the last two and the last one that mattered. He was in the mix all day, all weekend.
Dude, that's why I texted him.
Was freaking
stoked for you. Dude, he nailed both qualifying laps. He stayed in the mix all day, like you said. Great job on pit road. And they executed one race, man.
One race.
Winning freaking Cup races is hard. And that one yesterday was hard to win. Everybody's going to be, well, 20 car blew up, 12 car run a gas. Well, yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Your motor's got to stay together. And
got to have put gas in.
Yeah, that's the Cup racing, dude.
Yeah. He's ninth driver to win in 2024. How many do you think we get to? That was
12.
race 15? Think so?
Yeah. We got some road courses coming up.
Yep.
We got 2 more super speedways.
Yep.
Right? Atlanta's in the regular season.
Atlanta, Daytona.
So I don't know. Maybe
I think you get 14.
Maybe 14. Yeah. 12. Yeah, I think we get 5 more.
That's why we do this show every
12
week. So
cars gonna win. Has a 21 yet? 21 last week, Coke 600. Who hasn't won? 54 could win.
Yeah.
19 could win. 22.
A lot of guys.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot of guys capable of getting dubs.
3 and the 8 had some more speed yesterday than they've had too. So it's
yeah.
The RCR bunch is picking it back up. Another big highlight from out in Portland from the RCR guys. That's going to be in our next segment.
Yeah, let's go. Well, there's enough stuff to talk about in the Xfinity race as well. That's enough with Gateway. Going to Sonoma next week.
Moving on.
We'll talk about a little bit of pit road boats and woes, and our buddy SVG getting a dub.
Join Todd Gordon and myself each week for NASCAR Inside the Race. We'll break down exactly how the race was won.
Plus, we'll dive into the data and go in depth on race strategies, penalties, and rule changes.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race presented by Consumer Cellular each Tuesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is time for some pit road boats and woes. First up, Ty Gibbs. What we got going on here?
54 pit stop, Jackson Gibbs. This is a little cousinly love. I'm going to put this one a little bit on, if we go back to this, I'm going to put a little bit on the hose puller because Jackson wants to run. The hose is connected to your side, right? Braxton cuts it right when he's supposed to. Jackson wants to run at a diagonal away from the car. Braxton, great hang, tightens it, gives him a step. He wants to run away from the car, but the hose tied to his hip, the hose puller is actually pulling him back into the car so he can't run to where he wants to. And just does a little roll off the hood as part of it. And then he sells it here at the wall a little bit.
Really sold it hard.
Oh, man, got hit by my cousin. But he's a stud. Hopefully he had some good lightning bolts or something drawn on his socket. He's never short for arts and crafts. The second one looks like it's our final pit stop. Great pit stop. Come back Green flag stop. Chris Conklin, our gas man, crushes it. A lot of talk about 2 cans or 1 can. Listen, with as fast as pit stops are now, the hardest thing to do is gas. You know, but to calculate fuel mileage and to make sure that you get everything, because it's such a thankless job. Pit crewing is a thankless job to begin with. Like, in a world of field goal kickers, he is like he's like the placeholder, like laces out, you know.
Finkel.
But it's so hard. I mean, it's a 100-pound can. By our calculations, we needed everything in that can. He got everything in that can into the car in 9 seconds. If you do a fuel shuttle there, which is going to a second can, you aren't going to get it's not guaranteed that you're going to get any more in it, because it takes longer to get rid of the first can, get the second can, so probably get the same amount of fuel in. So execution there was 10 out of 10, just slightly off on calculation. And hey, that happens. It's freaking cup racing's hard. One thing,
the margins, man.
Another woe that turned us into the dog of the week. Let's run the tape here.
This is unbelievable.
Belly flop on the hood
from the top rope.
Boom.
Let's go.
You love to see it, and that's what Portland, the road crew guys, are the.
Who is this fella?
The road crew guys, Robert Strmiska. Why does he have to have the hardest last name ever to say? Strmiska.
Well, why don't we just call him Ed Hardy? Or what's the guy? Tom Hardy? What's the Hardy brothers?
Yeah,
what are those guys?
He's the car chief. Robert's car chief. You can see he's got knee pads on, so he was the tire changer that day. So what happens at Portland is the road crew guys become the pit crew guys, because it's spread thin, so they change the rules. They change the rules to where you have to have like a 35-second pit stop. It's 63 seconds from line to line. So when they come down here, the hood's bowed up, and you get this like once a year, and my man just goes full-blown just Jimmy Superfly Snooker from the top rope and smashed it down.
It was awesome.
It was great, and hey, it was effective. Let's watch it one more time. Now, Robert, these guys at RCR are racers, and Robert is just that. He's the car chief on the car, so he knows more about this race car than anybody. He knows where the hinges are, where the braces are, where it's got to get pushed down at. Right? He's the guy that sets all that. He's the first one there and the last one to leave. He's also a racer himself. He runs 4 cylinders, runs at Bowman Gray Stadium and around the Carolinas with, I think it's number 90, black and pink car. So, look, man, these car chiefs, they're dogs, man. Every one of them, they got to know, and he proved it right there. Pretty great. There's been a couple belly flops. I heard that we're going to vote for him.
Well, you know, we're in the Olympic season. Olympics are coming up, and we're gonna rank our pit road diving.
Yes,
it's a new event, I heard.
So we've got 2. We've got this one, and then
Wilkesboro.
Oh boy. Now this fella, he's a Spire employee. You know him?
No, but I need to. Apparently, off camera, there's an overturned porta potty.
That's what I heard. So that's why he's getting. For me, I'm going 8, dude. But you know what?
I would go if I had 2. I'd go 2 because there's probably a lot of deuces floating around in that water. the belly flop itself is a 10. Go back to it.
Yeah, the belly flop.
We're watching these on YouTube right here. He lines it up, points to the crowd. Yes, here we go. Flop. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go 9.
Okay, you changed.
I did change.
I'll go 9 as well, because he's making the most of the situation. No, I'm going 8 because I didn't love it. I'm gonna stick with my guns.
I'm gonna go 9
because it's a 2-point margin of this one. That is a 10. My man Robert Strmiska.
Right there.
It's
a 10.
It's a damn 10, as Billy Bob would say, a freaking 10.
A freaking 10. Because he was committed. There wasn't like any sort of reservation. He saw it come in. He already had it planned. He said, "I'm coming off the top rope with the elbow."
I'll say this: bear bond application, not a 10.
No, but that's not what he was going for.
But yep, belly flop 10.
Pushes the hood pin bar out and everything.
Simple and effective.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Which also, a 10 pit road dive makes you the dog of the week.
The dog of of the week, Robert
Mm-hmm.
Stamriska.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I could say his last name right. He's going to roast us.
Yeah.
RCR pick crew guys, dude, they have been on it. They have made the highlights this year for sure. From the Sledgehammer.
At Phoenix, smashing Morgan and Morgan.
Oh.
The head of that. That guy that has his hand right there with that guy wielding that 15-pound sledgehammer.
Let's just pause this real quick.
Ultimate trust.
The sponsorship, like the what's the word I'm looking for? Like
the irony.
The irony of
Morgan
an
and Morgan.
injury lawyer there, right? And then you go Ricky Stenhouse being sponsored by Icy Hot.
Can I pause you right there? So where were we driving last week? I was driving up to somewhere up like Winston-Salem, and there is a Morgan and Morgan billboard with Kyle Busch's face. This is the day after Wilkesboro, and it says "injured?" ? And Kyle Busch standing there.
Oh no!
I was like, I wonder if there's a lawsuit case. That's the ultimate irony.
The worst irony, and I regret to even say it, but I got to point it out: the fact that the week Stewart-Haas announces there's 3 of their cars are sponsored by a liquidation company. I'm like,
Overstock.com.
Dude, the irony and sponsorships and things happening on the track this year has been
top notch.
Top notch.
I don't know who's wielding that hammer during that Austin Dillon pit stop, but one too many whacks and the head comes flying off. I'm gonna give that guy with his hand 3 inches away from that sledgehammer swinging. I'm gonna give that guy like a 10.
Then you got another dog of the week here, Justin White.
I walked past him yesterday. It's a big country dog.
He's a large man.
He is very big.
So yeah, and then another instance here, not getting a left front on.
Nope.
Tire carrier getting on top of the hood,
and riding it out,
saving the day.
That's
at
a dog
Bristol,
move.
Or is that Martinsville? I don't know.
That's Bristol.
Bristol, yeah. So these guys have been in the headlines, good, bad, and different, all year.
You know
Still
what they
looking
say?
For that first couple.
Bad press is good press.
They say
I don't think so.
all press is good press.
Oh, sure.
What they say.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know what they say.
That's it, though. Another RCR guy, dog of the week. Shout out, I think 20 Pit Crew is probably the best on pit road this weekend. So shout out to them. Shout out to the 2 crew. And moving on to
shifting gears to Portland. Friend of the show, Shane Van Gisbergen takes the dub. He was off the track, smashed into backwards, forwards, but I can tell you this, he was absolutely wheeling.
Dude, it was I was watching it.
The 7 car was strong, probably dominant all day. The 97 tried to give it up a couple different times in terms of strategy. They flipped the first stage. Nobody else did. They get shuffled back on a restart. Didn't matter because SVG then proceeds to drift around the entire track.
He said, I need a little bit more steering lock, mate.
Yeah, because, he was going faster than half the field, just sliding.
He's a big time. He's a car guy. Oh,
well, my favorite thing is they throw him a ball after the race. New Zealand All Blacks, one of the best rugby teams ever, and just kicks it so nonchalantly. Not much effort, and launches it 75 yards.
He said,
into outer space.
Hold on, Josh Sims. Let me kick this ball real quick. And, dude, it was like the softest kick ever, and that thing was gone.
Well, yeah, look at his calves, bro. He's got power in those things.
Great point. That's a great point.
He flew home this week, so we couldn't get him in the studio, but I'm sure we'll get him in to talk about. That's going to be a kickball recruit for sure.
You got to have him.
He's on my squad. I already claim him.
Yeah, you got to have him.
If you got calves that big and you launch a rugby ball, you can kick a kickball.
Oh, yeah.
He's mine, boys. Get away.
That was a great race. He had a couple instances. I think he spun out. Was it Sam? Get them all mixed up. Sammy Smith or Sam Mayer, one of them.
I don't think he spun him out unless I didn't see it.
No,
was it early?
1,000% spun out in turn 1.
You'll have that.
And he apologized to him, and his car looked like when Joe Dirt pulls up in that old car and they stop and everything starts falling off of it.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. It was just wrecked.
When he got back to like 7th, 8th in the Hornet's Nest, people just were smashed into him.
Well, and he said he even said I got to get better at my restarts here. Like it's pretty crazy. I was excited for him too, and it's a little bit like with him. It seems a little bit like when Larson and like we talked about with Larson and Reddick going to like Homestead or Darlington. like that's right in his wheelhouse, and it's like I gotta win this, and it's like his tongue's out the whole race long.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Well, he did win it.
Yeah, he was off the track a couple times.
Punches his ticket to the playoffs. Love to see it. Superb rookie campaign in the Xfinity Series for SVG, like we all expected. He's a dog.
Does he go back to back in Sonoma?
He did the Cup Series test, so he has more laps, or he did the Wheel Force test a couple weeks ago. So if he hadn't seen it before, he had seen it for a 2-day test.
Yeah, and it's new fresh pavement this year.
Fresh pavement. We got some other Aussies coming in. Obviously, SVG's New Zealand. It's a Kiwi. Let's point that out. Will Brown and Cam Waters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Will Brown's current V8 Supercar point leader, coming over to drive for the 33 RCR, third effort, as well as Cam Waters driving that Project 60.
Who was the guy that drove for Sam Hunt?
Stage
Jack?
60.
Who was that? Jack, what was his name? He drove for Sam Hunt this weekend, and somebody helped me out over there. They
Ed
finished
Jones?
top 5. Ed Jones, that's his name. Ed Jones, not Jack. I met him on pit road last week at Charlotte. Great job out of him, top 5 effort.
Shout out. Sam Hunt Racing needed a solid run in the bank.
Yeah, that was good for them. I had a lot of tweets about this coyote running on the track at Portland.
Talk about
the
a
dog of the week.
It might be the dog. It was about to be freaking pulverized. Under green. So I see a gap, I'm shooting it.
Oof. Imagine that. Like,
Dude.
I always think about that. Animals that live at a racetrack. Like, when you go to a
they're
short
like, what's
track.
going on? Why is there so much light? What's so much
It's
noise?
so calm here all week, all year long. What is going on? That
Get
reminds
out of
me of, I sent it in the group chat for Stacking Pennies, but we used to always go to the proving grounds out in Arizona. With Chevy, we would go to Yuma when I was with.
Isn't it a 5-mile circle?
It's a big circle.
Yeah.
In the desert. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. And 1 year, it would, like, when you're going that fast, like if you hit one of those tumbleweeds, it really wrecks the car. But 1 year, a team, I think it was Gibbs, because it was like the 18 car with the diamond plate on it, hit a coyote.
Yeah,
like
same size.
Yeah, and it destroyed the car, and it was just a mess. If you Google that, be ready for some gory pictures. NASCAR.
It's worth a Google, though.
Coyote hit. I'm happy that didn't happen live on TV.
I know,
I'm
that'd
happy
been
my man
brutal.
got away, but he was not the dog of the week because.
No, you got to dive on a hood.
Just
dog of the week.
Yep, right after that, he's just merely a dog, not the dog of the week.
He might be half dog, half coyote. I don't know.
Canine.
Transition from that, we're going to penny stackers. A lot of them. The ones that I particularly like to hear from are people in the industry, different truck drivers, different engine tuners, guys that are listening to us every week. And some weeks I wonder why I come in here and do this on a Monday. But people saying they listen to the show makes me want to drag my ass back here and talk about it. So here we are. So appreciate, whether it's also Riley Green was doing the concert post-race.
Stacking Pennies hat on.
His Stacking Pennies hat on.
Second, Cameron Marlowe last week.
I'm trying to get all the country music singers, man.
That's it. Who's one guy from I had somebody from the industry, Dalton Leonard, rear changer on the 17, said, hey, man, I love the podcast. Let's do it on a mowing grass. Who's one guy that said something to you this week?
I think it was truck driver of the 6.
Let's go.
Or the 17. I didn't get his name. But, yeah, appreciate those shout-outs that keep us going.
Heck yeah.
And everybody else that listens to Penny Stackers as well.
Yep, shout out to Corey Heim. Scotty Zip got that thing hauling the mail. They're going to be hard to beat for the championship this year.
Yeah.
William Swallich for the ARCA. West Racing, did you see the Cars Tour 3-wide finish?
I did not.
Oh, man.
Was it badass?
Bad ass at Langley.
Okay.
So restart. Connor Hall on a restart gets the lead. Is it Carson Quapple?
Yeah.
Kind of cross them up. Gets under him, coming to the checkered into 3.
Yeah.
Gets in there and Brent Cruz backs the corner up, sticks him 3 wide. And they all kind of like they were clean. They were hitting each other, but they were clean.
Yeah.
And Connor Hall on the top gets it pointed and beats 3 wide, beats Cruz back the line. Cruz on the bottom. It looked just like Atlanta it was like .007. It looked like the same finish. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I hope Old Langley Motor Speedway had the line painted straight. They were about ready to get some hate.
Yeah.
But it was a great race. The car store has just been producing this year, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, that's a killer series for sure. Shout out to those guys. We got some penny for your thoughts questions. What do we got?
First one.
Speaking of stacking pennies hats, Riley Green was wearing one this weekend. Cameron Marlowe wore one. It's the new drop. We got some fuel hats.
So yeah, when is the new merch coming?
I don't
is
know.
the question.
We're working on the website, trying to get some new stuff. Trying to get some new T-shirts for you guys. We're gonna roll it all out here in the next couple weeks. We got it all dialed in. Those new hats are sweet.
Next one from Joey. Not even gonna try to pronounce his last name.
We're having a tough time with last names here on the show today.
Not great. That's very well, we might as well try it now. Sirianni.
Yeah.
Joey Sirianni. I look at. I'm from Jersey. Joey Sirianni. He'll take a slice of Sicilian. Who do you think will win the 2024 Cup Championship? All too soon. Championship favorite.
Is there anybody that stood out above the pack right now?
No, the Fords are doing Ford things. Starting to get to the second half of the year, they're getting stronger. My all too soon pick would be Larson, but there's a lot going on there right now, so it's hard to pick. The 11, the Magic is worn off a touch.
Where'd it go?
I don't know, just Magic. So yeah, I'm not sure.
They finished second
this weekend.
Yeah.
Huh? Did they?
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's a very quiet second.
It was a pretty quiet second. So maybe okay. I go back on that. I would pick the 11 right now if I had to, because they've been pretty strong everywhere.
Okay. I would pick the 11 over the 24 at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. 11, 24 are the strongest each week, but like, dude, there's so much time to go, and it's you can't even.
But even when you hit on something, it doesn't even carry over week to week.
No,
it's 1 week at a time, and who can best execute what they got at that weekend.
I'm picking the 12. Moving on.
Make sure they keep gassing that sucker, and then it'll be just fine.
Why? Why you got to go there?
It was low hanging fruit. I had to.
Golly.
What else we got? Cup shout-outs. Austin Dillon, P6. 3 teams have been having a tough start to the season. I'm sure they feel good about that. Hocevar, P8. Happy for him. And Justin Haley's got that Rick Ware. Him and Chris Lawson, Tic Tac, got that RWR 51 stroke.
Chris Lawson's one of the guys that when you get him on a team, he always makes it better. Shout out, like we said here, him, Jerry Kelly, Tommy Baldwin, all those guys over there. Robbie Benton. Rick Ware pulling the rope, same direction.
I usually don't have a lot of grind my gears, because I usually try to let things roll off. But this week, and you can get the violin out.
Okay.
This was the worst driver intros of the season.
Was it? Why?
The drivers' meeting was in the garage, and the stage where the concert was in the middle of 1 and 2.
That's where Victory Lane was too, huh?
I don't know. I didn't see it. Never seen it.
Yeah, I think
I've never even been close to it at Gateway, actually. So the stage was in like a quarter mile away.
Oh, you had to walk down there?
How dare they make us walk?
Keep going.
And there's stanchions and there's fans, and what sucks is having to blow people off on the way to the driver's
I hate to walk a quarter mile to my car that I'm going to sit in for 3 hours.
No, then you got to go and walk back. No ride arounds.
No.
You don't even get a Shelby Silverado to take you around the track.
Oh, no, and your cool shirt.
It's not hooked up at the moment.
Yeah, but your
it's hot.
Charger's hanging out. Golly.
I tuck my umbilical cord in.
Oh, man. Can we not get a golf cart for these guys?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. It was brutal. But that's where I met up with Riley Green on the way.
Did you give him a hat there, or did he have it on?
I gave him a hat there.
Nice.
So that's what really ground my gears. And then it was away from the fans. It was just not very good. It was like the least amount of energy for a pre-race.
Dude, that place, though, I love going there.
It seems like they let you buy a general admission ticket, and they just let you come on the grid.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's different in St. Louis, but fans are very persistent about autographs. They're like
I had some guy after the race in a cowboy hat.
No, sign that, sir.
We were right at the opening, and he's like, "Hey, want me to teach you how to race?" I'm like, "Bro, read the room." And yeah, there was some guys that kind of walked up with like beer cans in their hand right when the drivers were getting out, and one of the NASCAR officials was like, "You go out of here." And they're like, "Are you talking to me?" She's like, "I'm very much talking to you. Get out of here." But
Oh, speaking of NASCAR security, apparently Stan the Man is getting shout-outs at the racetrack now.
oh, he should. He very much should.
I don't know if we're beefing anymore. I don't want to beef with Stan the
You
Man.
were beefing with Stan the Man?
No, me and Stan the Man are boys. But he did say, I heard you talking about me.
You know, dude, there ain't much he misses.
He don't miss.
No.
I tell Stan the Man can smell beef cooking from a mile away.
They know what's going on at the racetrack all the time. There's a lot of cameras.
Yeah.
And those guys are tapped in.
Yeah.
They're high-level individuals.
But Stan the Man's now a celebrity.
He should be.
He should be.
Rightly earned.
All I'm asking, Stan, is just to uncork that bottle of wine. If people start scrapping, let it breathe for like 2 beats.
If you're a fan and you plan on messing around at the racetrack, don't. You better stay in line.
No, because it's like that Undertaker gift where like Stan the Man's always lurking over your shoulder
They're
if you
gonna get
feel
you.
like getting sideways at the track.
They're going to get you. But, dude, this is like why I've been arguing to go to places one time. It feels like an event. Like we go back there. It's packed. It's exciting. Like it's different. Pit road is super sketchy because it's so tight. I'm happy they open it up 3 foot, but it is
That seemed to help.
super tight. And I love it, man. I'm excited to go to Iowa. The Cup
Yeah, it's gonna be
inaugural
cool.
race at Iowa, and I go back to Dover. One race there is, revitalized the whole place, and it's just I like it. I like where the sport's heading. The racing was good this week. If you didn't like that, if you voted no on Jeff Gluck's poll, go watch F1.
Yeah, do that. But you can also watch this.
You
too.
can watch this too. Yeah, I don't mean it.
And while you're doing that, you continue to just like, download, share, rate, review, whether you're listening on Sirius XM Channel 90, whether you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, or wherever you find your podcast, or on YouTube, which we would recommend going to watch it on YouTube. They do a great job putting all the video clips in and breaking her down each and every week for you guys. Just keep listening. We're doing a live show in Iowa, which I'm excited about, like he just talked about.
Who's going to be your co-host, man?
I don't know. We moved it all around so you could come out there and
No,
do
you
it.
didn't.
Yes, we did.
It wasn't for me.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was. I mean, it was mostly to accommodate my schedule.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but it's
Made
also
me feel like a bad guy here.
you also the invitation is there and open.
See, they repave the bottom of that place.
They repaved the bottom 3 lanes,
Huh.
all like spotchy and like not really uniform. It doesn't make a lot of sense from
Okay.
what I saw at the pictures. But hey, that's
I'm sure there's a reason. Don't know what it is. Moving on. We'll
Don't
cover
pertain to
that.
me.
Hey,
It's
we'll
the same
cover
for
that
everybody.
next week after we get through Sonoma.
Yep. Also, stay tuned. Thursday, spare change. We're going to break down Sonoma as well. That's all I got. We're just going to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps this week and get back at it. I feel good going to some road courses. Qualified 5th at Coda. We just got to keep that thing up in the wind. And just turn it around, man. That's all you can do.
That's it. Got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Go to work.
Yeah. Stack pennies. Boil it down to the basics. Do the small things right. And then let the outcomes speak for themselves. Hashtag Penny for Your Thoughts questions on X. And @_stacking pennies on Instagram. And just keep stacking pennies in life, guys. Keep up the good work. Talk to you next week. Goodbye.